Muting. My new bitch amazing. I fuck her like I'm Asian. Baby, I fuck her like a baby. Okay. Am I off, girlfriend? Let's see if I'm off now. Let's see if my... Oh, they're closing in on 5 mil? No cap. That's tough. I gotta wait for her actual response in real life. That's crazy. Or she didn't fucking hear me. I said it's a delay. Like... Actually, you won't know if it's delayed for real. How about this? Delayed. Did the screen just start moving when I said delayed? Because if so, then like it's like there. Like this. Delayed. I don't know if you would know. It's like up, down, like I guess like that's the best I could do. Like, oh wait. Left, right, left, right. Left, right, left, right. You see the mouse? Left, right, left, right. Left, right, left, right. I don't know what else you want me to do. How do I sound? How do I sound, baby?
It's a little slow, yeah.
How do I sound, baby? Let me know how I sound. And then tell me how you feel about it. What about your feelings for me? Are they delayed? Yeah. Alright, everybody gonna hear Sexual Chocolate on live.
See anything? It's fucking glitching.
Can't see nothing. I'm not even moving the screen.
You sound fine. It's glitching.
I'm not even touching the screen. Nothing's even happening. It's just sitting there. What if we do this? What if we sit on the black screen?
See, it is delayed. I can still hear myself, and I said it a minute ago.
So the stream is delayed. That ain't mean shit though. The stream's delayed. The stream's delayed. The stream's not gonna be this just like as quick as me and you on the phone. Duh. If everything is happening a minute ago, it doesn't matter.
Hear me?
Yeah, I'm listening to you right now. Fucking talking to you, nigga.
You're not even touching. It's so delayed, dude. I said that 2 minutes ago.
What did you say 2 minutes ago? What the fuck are you talking about? Whatever you said 2 minutes ago, it don't matter. Because again, everything you saying and I'm saying anyways is going...
Fix it.
Everything you saying and I'm saying is going to be delayed anyways. So while you're watching it, you're going to hear shit from the past regardless. Do you know where the fuck you're at? Do you know where you're at? It's not like if I got on my phone and watched my own stream. If I got on my phone and watched my own stream, it would be like only a few seconds delayed. Yeah, for you it's gonna be a minute delayed. Do it really matter? You just telling me shit I would already know.
Exactly. Stop your fucking screen.
Why would I do that? Because if I'm stopping my... You sound dumb. Like stopping my stream because you're a minute behind? That makes no sense. If you were a viewer, you would be a minute behind regardless. Do you get what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna wait until you hear that.
Why is it black? I'm not a minute, but
I'm not answering no more questions until she catch up to the stream, so she realizes how a stream works. You're gonna be behind anyways. It's like RDC. Everything that happening in real time for RDC is a minute. I'm watching a minute after for me. You know what I'm saying? For them, it was real time. I think I'm watching it in real time. No. Everything I'm watching on anybody's stream is a minute or two behind, regardless of who it is. It could be Kaisa fucking Nat. Doesn't matter. So until she realizes that and just says, okay, bae, I'm done, I'll stop. I'm gonna just keep waiting till then. How y'all feeling tonight, man? I just want her to say, okay, I'm done.
Can you play something?
Wait for something to happen. She talking about, can you play something?
Can you play something?
Yeah. And she finna get on my motherfucking nerves. Can you mute your fucking self? This ain't your stream.
Let me show you how to block this ad. First, you're gonna click on this video, then you're gonna download Pi. It's an ad blocker that's still here? Let me explain. It's a free Chrome extension.
Pause. Where's my... This shit ain't even... Wait, let me do that. Maybe now here. Excuse me, nigga.
Fantastic Four.
There we go. There we go.
Designs. Okay, this episode opens with a close-up of this blue rose, an inverted shot that bookends and mirrors the inverted and tinted final shot of the episode. This is one of many shots in this episode with a complete blue filter, which we learn throughout the episode represents the frozen tunnel vision through
Damn,
which
that's crazy.
sees the world, which I...
Like, are you watching the... Like, bro, you're not even watching the fucking stream gonna tell me to do something. Stop. I don't care what you do. No. No. You clicking... You're clicking a little too much. You should be sitting there and just watching it. You should just be sitting there and watching it. You shouldn't be tapping your screen.
I can't even see your screen.
Do you understand what I just said?
Yes, but I can't even see your screen.
So,
it's glitching.
all right. I'm gonna ask you like this. What is tapping your screen gonna do for you?
I don't know.
So stop. Just watch it.
I don't want to watch a glitched out fucking video.
Then don't. Goodbye. Then don't. I ask you to watch it, glitchy or not, do me that fucking solid. If you don't feel like doing it, don't. Just don't fucking do it. Stop talking. Stop talking. I don't care no more. I don't even care anymore. I really don't. I really don't. Because if you was listening, what I said was, what the fuck is the title? What the fuck is the title? I'm not letting you suck the fun out of this. I'm really not. I don't give a damn how glitchy it is.
You as like the
what the fuck, nigga?
Counterpart to the
trying.
world on fire perception that
not
Matt
what the
Murdock
fuck
sees
it's
the world
about. It's
as.
not about
Dex's
whether it's
bullseye
glitchy
vision
or not.
allows him, really forces him to hyper focus on these tiny distant details like the folds of the petals of this rose, and the spiral pattern of the blue rose also reflects the bullseye forehead crosshair icon from the comics where he wore a blue highlighted suit.
Wow.
These blue roses are apparently being grown in the garden outside Riker's prison, which is interesting because blue roses are insanely rare. They don't grow naturally in the wild and they have to be genetically engineered, which might be a parallel to the way Dex was given a surgical cognium spine. The song playing during this intro sequence is Stillness and Panic by Hannah Kolstad, a Norwegian musician. It hauntingly reflects the stillness and panic people like Dex and Matt feel in the paranoid way they see their worlds. We do an impossible transition through the glass of Dex's cell as the blustering wind goes suddenly silent and Dex twiddles his fingers, his flinging fingies.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Fuck Poindexter, nigga. Poindexter ain't nothing but a bitch. No cap.
Rose also reflects the bullseye forehead crosshair icon from the comics, where he wore a blue highlighted suit. Wow.
Yeah, this bitch glitchy, but shit. I'm gonna keep streaming until this bitch stops me.
He's clearly itching to get something in them. The guards will arrive to transport him. Note that normally these inmates have belongings to collect, but Dex is not allowed to have anything because he can weaponize literally any object.
Yeah,
Dex
he's like
is being
that.
transferred from ESH, Enhanced Supervision Housing, to General Population. Or
Okay, here's the thing. If enhanced super visual, whatever the fuck, this nigga should have been in the raft. Am I tripping? This nigga should have been in the raft. If anybody, I ain't gonna lie, let's think about everybody in the MCU right now. Like, all right, we just had Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross. He's in the raft. Motherfucking, what was before him? Like, last thing we had before him was Dar-Ben, and she's like dead. You know what I'm saying? Before that, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, niggas go to the raft. Let's not act like it's just not a thing. He could have went. He could have went.
At the orders of Fisk, we find out later. Fisk
That is true though. At the word is a fist. But nah, like when he got booked. Hold on. When Poindexter got booked, he could have like
did
he
this to
could
Frank
have
Castle.
when Poindexter got booked, he could have easily went to the fucking raft. Fisk wasn't even in power. How the fuck did that happen?
In season 2, when he used Frank to take out a prisoner and left him to fight his way through the Gen Pop guys. The guards called
Best
Dex
scene ever
Agent
in that fucking season. I'm not gonna lie. Best fucking season, bro.
Dexter mockingly reminded him and us that he used to be an FBI agent before he went on his killing spree. Directors Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead, who came in post-creative overhaul to direct this episode along with episode 1 and next week's finale, stay in one rolling shot following Dex's walk and then roll back through that Gen Pop gate that closes behind him. It's just one of many fun shots that these directors pull off in this episode. Not that the 6 episodes in the middle of the season didn't have fun camera work in them, but it's shots like these that make episode 1 and episode 8 just feel different for the rest of the season. As Dex enters the Gen Pop area, surrounded by inmates who hate cops and feds.
Yo, was that Berlizzi? Yo, that looked like Berlin for a hot second. Like if you like had it just looked, that looked just like Berlizzi a little bit though.
Like he used to be, everything turns blue again, showing how Bullseye.
Oh, and you know what? I wasn't even thinking. I was thinking like. Motherfucking, I don't know. Okay, I don't know what I was thinking. I was for some reason thinking that niggas was like knew he was Bullseye. I don't know why I thought that, but obviously we can see that he was just a fucking cop. I kind of just forgot.
Is re-entering his deadly tunnel vision, seeing only the micro close-ups of targets. And considering these guys all have lunch trays, even with seemingly harmless fruit cups and dull silverware, you know Tex knows how to make things.
Yo, like I'm saying, like this nigga got a tray in his hand. What the fuck is that finna do? What is that finna do?
Things like that deadly if he could get his hands free. Mayor Fisk and Vanessa visit Red Hook. Behind them, you can see members of Fisk's anti-vigilante task force patrolling the area, including at least one female cop, showing that Fisk is now using these cops as his own.
I seen her. What was she at? I think she was she's like at the front. I think towards the end of the episode at the gate, not the gate, but the front of the building for Fisk's little party. I was seeing her. I'm like, who did she get into it with? What vigilante did she get into it with? I'm trying to figure out.
Personal goon squad. And
Stream Choppy, I really don't care.
We
bro.
learned that Fisk
Stream Choppy, I really don't care. We in this together.
Secured his funding for Red Hook from the billionaires in episode 6, and that Vanessa knowingly set Luca up.
What you did with Luca.
He was a punk playing at a throne.
Heather and Matt argue about the domino
Why did she
effect
do
of
Luca like
vigilante violence.
that?
I think I'm finally starting to understand how that
this broad.
violence it just
This broad.
from Daredevil to Muse to me.
I'm sure you can put Muse and Daredevil in the same category.
Heather is doing the same mental clumping of heroic vigilantes.
And the thing is, the nigga clearly saved you. I don't know why. She. How did she not realize Daredevil clearly saved her? She talk about some. Daredevil wasn't even looking at me. He was only obviously in it for himself. Do you not realize when you was well? She don't even know it because she was knocked out. But as soon as she was knocked out, first thing Matt did was say her whole name. She didn't hear that, but it's like, are you slow? You know what I mean? Like that nigga didn't come to rescue you for what? Nothing? Like you just all right. I don't know. She's just slow. That's what I'm saying. She really think Daredevil
serial killers that Fisk has done in his
the same as Muse.
Press comments. And Heather even goes further.
There are just these underdeveloped boys hiding behind masks, trying to make it look like something more sophisticated.
She calls them boys. Heather is doing that same kind of infantilizing that Frank Castle did to his fans. And I think it might come from Heather being
and not only that. In this argument, Matt's telling her about like you trust Fisk. How you trust Fisk and everybody, like, you got people on BB Report talking about he's smashing heads in doors. You know what I mean? Like, how the public know that? And you still here talk about some Daredevil's in it for himself. Obviously, you see him and Muse was going at it. He wasn't thinking about me. Bro, he crashed into a window. Like, dramatic entrance. For who? You. The savee.
a little let down to realize that the feared serial killer known as Muse was actually Nosebleedy Bastion. And this is kind of her own way of reclaiming power over someone who did nearly kill her. Buck arrives asking for Heather, and this is clearly a threat from...
Well, she... I do gotta remember, she says boys because Yeah, Muse was like, oh no.
Ben and his goons. We know where you live, Matt Murdock. Episode 6 ended with Fisk heading down the steps to where he keeps Adam. Now he and Vanessa descended together in a staircase that must have a kind of time warp that causes you to walk down in slow motion. It wasn't clear before where in New York this was, but now we know that Fisk's lair is in Red Hook, which is now just established as like his own lawless free port. Fisk leads Vanessa past the blood-spattered rabbit in a snowstorm painting. Vanessa was there in the battle at the presidential hotel at the end of Daredevil season.
Look at all that blood on his face. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Fucking, what was I gonna say? Villains in love? Different shit. Like, I'm not grabbing nobody bloody face, pulling it to mine, and saying any I love yous. Go clean yourself up.
Season 3. This painting in its original pure white form was a symbol of her and Fisk's love, but now stained with blood, it really represents the consummation of their violent partnership. Adam says
it represented their love. Bullshit. Get on. When was their love pure? She always knew. Here's the thing. Vanessa is one of them girls in school. She knew that nigga was a drug dealer. She knew that nigga played with guns. And now she pregnant at 16. Like she knew what the fuck she was getting into. Their relationship was never white like that painting. That's a lie.
Yeah. I just find it interesting that Dex said the same thing at the top of the episode.
I'm not supposed to be here.
It's just a fun little parallel for the two talented men that Fisk has behind bars. Fisk says,
I hear his voice. I see his hands. It's unbearable.
And the focus shifts to the foreground to Fisk's own hands fidgeting, instinctively seeking a hammer to grasp. We integrate between Fisk and Vanessa and Matt and Heather as Matt pleads with Heather to not let Fisk co-opt her life, and rather both of their lives, while Vanessa willingly lets herself be the hammer of Fisk's hand, shooting
Oh my god, she really
Adam a few times to the chest,
bow,
blood like the painting, finishing the guy off with a brutal headshot afterward.
She shot that nigga, what, 5 times?
Awaken to a world of wonder in Final Fantasy XIV Online.
Bro, if I could find a little game I could play on this hoe that don't glitch the fuck out the shit, I'd play it. No, bae. It's not The Sims. I'm not doing it. Like, maybe, but...
It's a moment with the gun still in her hand. Yes, I love this little nonverbal beat because a violent mind like Wilson Fisk can see when a seed of bloodlust takes root in another, and he is not keen to give his partner any ideas should she ever decide to turn on him. Fisk holds Vanessa and promises he'll never leave her again, and this shot seemingly romantically blurs the couple in the foreground, but really it's just so that we can shift focus to Adam's corpse between them in the background, which is also just creepy because this actor played D'Onofrio's son in the movie Thumbsucker, but also...
He what? He played Vincent's son in a whole nother movie.
Fisk grabs her head feels kind of like a smothering, clawing gesture.
Yeah, right? I ain't gonna lie. Like girls who with big niggas with big ass hands, like how you feel when that nigga grab your face? Do you feel smothered? Or like I don't know, like you gotta feel some type of way, like her full head for real. Like this is the back of the head. I want to see his hand over here because it's covering all of this surface area, all of that hand.
Would try to get if he was about to twist her neck. You know, the Scarlet Witch on Professor X grip.
That was gotta be the most brutal murder in like the MCU. And it was a dead ass murder, like the fucking cut to Patrick Stewart just falling over in the little wheelchair is like funny, but like that is one of the most brutal.
Fisk
like she snapped
the
that nigga neck.
Press coverage from the task force taking credit for Muse. We see the New York Examiner stop and fisked. Muse was minutes away from slaying again. Stop and frisk is of course the term for the controversial policing method that many say in practice has resulted in increased racial profiling. So it seems like the Examiner is kind of reclaiming the term as now an objectively.
That's actually horrible, bro. Powell looked racist too. Powell. He that nigga look racist. If any of these cops look racist, it's that nigga.
Positive thing, but also in
Again, yes, we glitchy, and I don't care. We moving.
Daredevil Season 3, an anti-Fisk protester sign read "Stop and Fisk him." So this is some wordplay we've seen before, but in a more critical context at that time.
They were talking
the New York
to Fisk
Criterion
about
that was sitting on the
Fisk,
desk
that
has
nigga
a
on some
photo of
bullshit.
Fisk's press conference. Beside that, the New York Bulletin, that was Ben Urich's publication, where Karen later worked as a researcher, posting Mayor gets his, and I think it's either Mayor gets his man or Mayor gets his muse. And then a fourth paper, the Manhattan something. Fisk promotes Daniel Blake to Deputy Mayor of Communications to make him his liaison to the city council.
Daniel's the future of this city. Why would we stand in the way of it?
And also, I tried to look up what the fuck Deputy Mayor of Communications means. I don't think that's a fucking job. Like, my dad was trying to explain it, saying like he like that like his job is basically to get every like information, like anything that like Fisk needs to know about. He'll find it out, him and his team, which is like, you know, cool. But I don't. You need no team for that, nigga? That sound like some. You know, that sound like some shit you need for a campaign. Well, not necessarily.
Day for you, sir.
Well, no, because anything you would want to know, you would find it out like regularly, though. No, you have a special team that finds shit out for you. Like, what would he need to know? Like, something's on the rise or something? Like,
I know you will.
I will burn for you. This feels like foreshadowing, right? If not,
that does feel like foreshadowing. Ooh, that does feel like foreshadowing. What if he like burns down somebody's house or some shit? I will burn for you. He's gonna commit arson for Fisk. Oh, watch. He's gonna commit arson for Fisk.
To Sheila, that Vanessa.
That's some shit. He a bitch in the face. You could tell. He got baby face. You could tell. He'd do some shit like that.
Verified that this desk really did belong to past Mayor Fiorella LaGuardia, calling back their conversation in episode 2. But I think this is also his way of telling Sheila, you told me I needed to bring Vanessa back into my public life. And while you have not seen my Shelley Miscavige, we have fixed things behind the scenes, and we are back on a team, just in a terrifying way you don't know about. We learned that Kirsten and Matt's client, Madison, is being accused of defrauding teachers, which tells us why Matt's previous legal tactic was to poison the opposing counsel, not go after the poor teachers who were the plaintiffs, but rather go after their lawyers for not providing them adequate counsel. But from douchey Madison's rudeness and hearing from his heartbeat that he was definitely lying about whether or not he knowingly defrauded the teacher.
Bro, this nigga got told he'll lie and keep lying. Like, I don't know why they don't use polygraphs more often. Like, sometimes it's like, I didn't. Put him on a polygraph. We doing all this talking in court. Ask him these questions on the polygraph exam, and then have me do the same thing. Let's see what happens. Like, come on, bruh. Come on, bro. Let's do
Matt
this.
Goes off on him. This is all part of Matt's crisis of confidence. He says it with Hector Ayala, poor Carmel Corn, Leroy Bradford, and Heather getting assaulted by Muse, and now Madison ripping off teachers. They're not serving justice, they're babysitting chaos. Which, interestingly, is kind of like a motto that the Marvel Cinematic Universe's TVA is operating by now, right? They're no longer serving justice, they're just babysitting chaos and letting the multiverse chaotically play out in whatever weed-filled garden it wants to be. Matt returns to Josie's bar, which has been closed ever since Foggy's death. I assume because Foggy died before paying his tab. The window's covered in newspaper. You can see posters for Toby Dalton's album release and Spencer Giles at the Bowery Ballroom. Spencer Giles is a costume designer on the show. There's also signs for Tavares and a play called The Afterglow. Now, the O'Melveny's whiskey that Foggy was drinking becomes an important clue.
Yeah, that becomes
but
important for the clue because he was
single
celebrating
whiskey from episode 4 that Matt heard rolling down the alley into the gutter in the area where Hector was killed was branded O'Haron's, which many online have pointed out was a brand of Scotch whiskey that showed up in several Marvel television titles, including Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent Carter, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Punisher,
Cloak and Dagger?
as well as Cloak and Dagger, and Hellstrom. Yes!
I need to see Cloak and Dagger, but I want somebody to tell me to watch that shit. I want somebody to tell me to watch that shit, but I feel like Cloak and Dagger is going to be tough. Let me plug this TV back up so I can play my fucking games, actually.
Yes, even Hellstrom. Josie brings out Foggy's bottle of O'Melvanese that he never finished in episode 1. Matt knows that Foggy would only be drinking that if Foggy was celebrating something, and realizes he must have been celebrating some kind of break in the case with Dumb Benny, and realizes that there was some kind of legal victory coming that Matt did not know about, and that must be why Foggy was killed. So yes, apparently this guy's name is Dumb Benny. D-U-M-B space B-E-N-N-Y. We never see this character, we only hear him over the phone, and I think it's kind of mean that they call him Dumb Benny, considering he's one of their clients. But just to get a recap what we knew about Dumb Benny from episode 1.
What about Dumb Benny?
You heard about that?
Everyone has heard about that. The guy rips off a bonded warehouse, gets caught on surveillance, and then he tells the cops he found...
Now, in that moment, we never heard what Dumb Benny told the cops he had found because Foggy got cut off. But then, later, Foggy told Matt this.
It's Benny. After that thing in Red Hook, he said he was getting threats, so I stashed him.
You stashed him? How exactly are you stashing people?
He's at my apartment. It's just down the street.
This episode confirms that Dumb Benny was one of Foggy's clients when they all worked together at
What make him dumb? Like, they are they gonna like establish that?
Nelson, Murdoch, and Paige, and Dumb Benny had robbed a warehouse in Red Hook, and Red Hook was where Vanessa Fisk was running various criminal operations through her connections with the 5 families, including Victor, Devlin, and Luca. When Dumb Benny was arrested, he offered to tell the cops other criminal activity he saw in Red Hook, which then got him some threats from these connections in the 5 families. But presumably, Foggy must not have known that Vanessa Fisk was the criminal his client was about to expose, because that would have nullified the terms of Matt's agreement with Fisk at the end of Daredevil Season 3, when Matt told Wilson Fisk that if he ever came after Foggy and Karen, then they'd stitch on Vanessa for, you know, what she did, telling Dex to kill FBI agent Nadine. So he must have just thought his people Luca and Victor, and did not know that Luca and Victor were connected to Vanessa Fisk. Otherwise, I don't think he would have crossed that line. Now, this whole connection with Bullseye, Foggy, Dumb Benny, and Melvini's bottle, these were all things added to the season and the rewritten episodes of 1 and 8. So that is subplot kind of disappeared from the show throughout 2 through 7 until the moment Castle brought Foggy's in episode 4, but that's only because Dean was also missing Ben
all of this Foggy gonna man life. Don't worry, he faked his death. That nigga ain't dead. Watch this.
Immediately clear if Dex knows in this moment or remembers that Matt is the same person as Daredevil. I had assumed that Dex in season 3 finale, Dex was in that kitchen, the room, back room, but still when Matt asked himself to face Fisk. I had also said before that Dex might have told Dex earlier in the season because that would have motivated Dex. I feel that when Vanessa sent
real
Nelson, Murdoch, and Paige that the Fisks made the Daredevil truce with. But let's clarify that it has never been explicitly stated whether or not Dex knows this about Matt Murdoch. In this scene, Dex refers to Matt as to tell Matt Murdoch who sent him after his buddy Foggy if Matt get him out of jail.
And look, here's the thing. This nigga said, "Get me outside, and I can tell you." What the fuck type of crackhead shit is that? Like, bitch, you're Bullseye. You're Bullseye, and you gonna tell me? Get me outside. I got you. Get the fuck out of my face.
Rageous Matt leading.
And again, yeah, we glitchy, we choppy, and I don't care. We still moving it. If you fuck with the commentary, that's, you know, fuck with me.
Matt smashing
subscribe
his face on the table, and Dex smiles victoriously.
Thank you, counselor.
This.
Nah, that nigga crazy.
Thank
you.
That
nigga crazy.
Matt loosened his tooth, giving him a projectile to spew as a bullet, which again is pretty crazy. Not for the accuracy of it all, but for the force with which anyone can spit something out of their mouth.
Bro,
so
me and my dad, I thought he said replay. He didn't. I replayed it anyways, bro. That shit was hard. He threw bitch in that nigga face, in his eyeball.
This interaction, that Dex might have known that Counselor Matt Murdoch is a guy who moonlights having some rage issues and at least would be strong enough to bash his tooth loose. On the way into Mayor Fisk's black and white ball,
I thought he already knew he was Daredevil anyways.
Vigilante Goon Squad. Inside, the band plays Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons, December 1963. Oh, what a night. A beloved track for anyone, anywhere, and especially if your parents dragged you to Jersey Boys and you just now know that Frankie Valli had mafia connections and Joe Pesci was connected.
Bro, who and okay, Joe Pesci, I know that name. And I think I just seen Christopher Walken on my screen, but who and who and who?
This ball shows this
what mafia
cop with a rifle on the balcony.
Oh, we talking about what's the dude and his dad or some shit?
This will be exactly where Dex will later stab this dude with a fork and take his gun. I love rewatching the early scenes in the ball sequence because you really see how all the geography of the big climactic moment later is set up right here in this part. Like, notice how this part of the episode tends to stay in longer than usual takes that shift from one conversation around
that was so cool
to another conversation without cutting. And we start with Sheila and Daniel
that was cool.
about his
I like how it did
promotion,
that.
then shift to Daniel talking to BB. You're
talking to
while
BB.
Sheila stays in the background of that shot,
staring.
It's really fun to see these actors continue to act in scenes that they're not a part of because they're all part.
No, these actors are like, these niggas really act. They all, that one take scene, all the actors are moving around in real time, extras included, bro. Like, nothing took me out of the experience. It was very captivating. I love the direction on this show, bro.
Part of the grander scene that is happening here. Then on the other side of Daniel telling BB about his promotion, the camera stays in a long take and moves to the other side of the bar among conversations with actors who are waiting through the whole take in the background for their time to shine. But in the voiceover, we hear BB and Daniel say this.
Shots?
Oh. Hell yeah.
BB and Daniel are talking about drink shots. And, you know, a black tie event is not the type of event where the bartenders are willing to pour shots. Like at my catered wedding, they're like, no, we don't let our bartenders pour shots. We're not going to have people falling all over the tables here. But it makes sense for these kids.
True. At my wedding, yeah, I don't want niggas falling over. I say my wedding, everybody 2 shots max. After that, you start serving real drinks. And like fucking, you know, and then watch them, you know what I mean? Like, and then after that, I don't know, bro. I don't know.
2 one-shots because, you know, these two are the type to drop ketamine on a work night. Also, we
that's what I'm saying. Them niggas do other shit.
The shots that are definitely coming at the end of the show. Jack Duquesne returns after episode 6 to talk to Artemis Sledge, the wealthy socialite, and wife to Arthur Sledge, who looks a lot like Steven Spielberg. Wilson Fisk met these two.
He really do. Wait, what the fuck?
Arthur Sledge, who looks a lot like Steven Spielberg.
He actually do look like that nigga, bro. Wait, bro. Why he really look like that nigga though? Oh my god.
Wilson Fisk met these two back at the fundraiser, and after she and her husband challenged the mayor in episode 6 about Red Hook funding, now she seems pretty spooked by the mayor and dodgy about Arthur's current whereabouts. So obviously Fisk had his goons take Arthur hostage until this billionaire couple coughed up some money for Red Hook. And then in the same take,
that nigga
the
Fisk
focus shifts to Heather, leaving another voice.
I'm wondering why the fuck she tripping.
And I get the feeling that originally this full thing might have been originally constructed to be one long take all the way around the bar, 180 degrees, starting with that initial shot of the bust before Daniel and Sheila started talking, and then would have gone to Daniel and Sheila, then to Daniel and BB, then to Jack Duquesne and Artemis, and then to Heather. But maybe they ended up splitting it in half for like pacing reasons, or maybe they were watching back this part of the episode in review, and they're like, hey, really cool shot, but like a lot of these characters, viewers don't care that much about. I care about them all. I'm just saying, a lot of you.
Or maybe originally Hector was here, and like, you know, Hector Ayala was supposed to be at the thing, and he had a conversation that never got shot or something. Who knows?
Might not care about all of them. We interrupt this video for a very important reason. To show you pictures of dogs. Hit it, post.
I'm not playing with you, Eric. Don't play with me, bro. Bro, nope. I want to see 0 dogs. I already have a daughter. I already have my own daughter. She's enough.
Mayor Fisk and Vanessa arrive, their entrance similar to their wedding party in Daredevil Season 3. And I like how this episode really is kind of like a redo of that event because they never got their proper wedding celebration. It was crashed by Bullseye. And they're trying to get it here, but once again, Bullseye's gonna ruin it. And I love it. Wilson in all white and Vanessa in blood red, guaranteeing that she would stand out at a, oh, did he miss the memo? Black and white ball, Vanessa. But that's the idea because they are recreating the color scheme of the bloodied rabbit in a snowstorm snowstorm painting, making this kind of an inside joke that only the two of them would appreciate.
Wow,
As
it would
Dex
be.
gets stitches in the medic bay, we can see the moment he sucks out his loose tooth, which then leads to this. Whoa! So if you go frame by frame, he definitely spits that tooth
Absolutely
with bullet intensity,
insane.
or at least extreme slingshot intensity, directly into that guard's eye. Also,
Do you know how much force in your mouth you got? I ain't gonna lie. Yes, bro. To bust an eyeball, bro. To bust an eyeball, bro. And precision. I'm not gonna lie. And precision, bro. Like, nigga, you gotta be used to that.
they brought back the buzzing sound effect from season 3 that we heard every time Bullseye was really getting unhinged. Now, before we even get into the physics of this, I totally appreciate the producers including this move because it's just one crazy trick that Bullseye famously does in the comics, a few times actually. Even the smile Wilson Bethel does here seems like an homage to the creepy smile Bullseye would do before he does his move to reveal the missing tooth and be like, ha ha ha, I'm gonna kill you with this thing. In 1990's Captain America number 372 by Mark Grunwald and Ron Lim, Bullseye was similarly incarcerated, given no physical objects and actually restricted to a liquid diet, and then began bashing his head against the wall, knocked loose a tooth, and then spits it like a bullet directly into a guard's eye, just like he does here. In 2005's Bullseye's Greatest Hits by Daniel Way and Steve Dillon, Bullseye fights a special agent named Hoskins who punches him in the mouth and knocks out his tooth, which Bullseye spits through his head like a bullet. And then in 2021's Heroes Reborn number 3, Bullseye, while imprisoned at the Ravencroft Institute, removes the tooth and threatens another prisoner with it. And he's like, hey, you think I could kill you with this? And if you read the other comics, you know they can. And yes, I am obsessed with this. I'm Mythbuster about this, but while I'm really the snap of a arm at deadly speeds, I feel like it would require some lungs or some cheek muscles to pucker one's lips in the perfect shape to match the dislodged tooth to create this kind of elastic effect to slingshot the tooth out completely.
All right. I feel like it's more like a flick. I feel like it's more like a flick with the tongue and the teeth. And it's like finessed off of the teeth and then like shoots, and it's like if you finesse it right, it shoots out a certain way. I feel like you think it's slingshot with your mouth, dog. First of all, low-key pause. And second, yeah, I think you're tripping.
That Bullseye would have perfect aim and know where to point his mouth, but I just think seeing this in live action is a bit of a big leap to assume that he could also use his mouth to create the propulsion enough to launch the tooth with bullet-like momentum and
Facts,
speed.
that is true. Like, why can you?
Spine? Like when this guy blows out birthday candles, is it a Hulk thunder? While I was researching this, I found
thunderclap is crazy.
Reddit post by a writer on April 28th, 2024, identifying themselves as an awesome author researcher, asking how hard the human mouth can spit a dislodged incisor tooth to pierce flesh 10 inches away. And guys, I think this might be the actual writer's assistant who worked on this episode, researching to settle the debate among the writers and producers to see if Bullseye could actually kill a guy by spitting a tooth into his eye. I mean, they were shooting this new episode in April 2024, exactly when this Reddit post was made. So basically, if you were working on the show, I followed in your footsteps, and I think we're all kind of dubious that this is possible, but we still love it. Also, we should note that the replies to this thread pointed to Cherry Pit spitting contest. Now, the
wow, what the fuck?
Is 93 feet 6.5 inches.
Damn, what the fuck?
Is very far. No. Going to speed or to launch a Cherry Pit that far, you would have to spin it pretty hard. Now,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's some force behind that hole.
But if you listen closely,
that could probably actually. I feel like if that nigga, that same person who did that, it had us like did it in somebody's eye. I feel like it wouldn't have probably busted their shit. I feel like I really would have got stuck though. Ow, that hurts my face thinking about it. I think it would have got stuck like in the corner of their eye. That's some crazy shit.
Gets hit in the eye. The medic told the guard stitches should hold for a week if you don't disturb them, and I thought he said that to Dex, but no, he says it to the guard, meaning that he's saying, guard, to answer your question from before, yes, you can punch this inmate or stand by while some Gen Pop guys punch him, but try to avoid the stitches to avoid a bloody mess, because I just put these in. So after this, within seconds, Dex frees himself from the restraints and he grabs some medical tools for his stitches and then hurls them at the doctor and the other guard, and his world turns blue because now he's in control. Everything in his sight is weaponizable projectiles. After this, he uses a prison guard's uniform and security badge to walk out of prison and is only met with a rough day, from another guard who I guess notices his injuries and his scowl. Vanessa tells Heather that they are done with therapy.
Sins of the past are dead and buried for both of us.
Sins of the past, dead and buried. Of course, referring to
we're choppy, and I'm keeping it that way, bro. I can't do nothing about it, bro. We're ghetto with it.
Adam, and she thinks
Ratchet
using Bullseye to kill Foggy, but that sin of the past is about to come back in full
Yeah,
force.
that's sin of the... See, what goes around comes around, Vanessa. Fuck you.
Arrives late to the ball, fashionably late, and while his entrance doesn't turn as many heads as Fisk's entrance did, it does get the...
Because here's the thing, bro. Vanessa really, like, felt froggy and jumped, bro. If you feel froggy, then jump. I don't know what else to say.
Attention of Cole North, of Vanessa.
Do what you gotta do, Vanessa. But hey, when Daredevil pop out the cut, what the...
So I like how Matt does a performative bump into another guest because he doesn't know what Mayor Fisk has told his goon squad about his actual abilities. By the time he approaches Fisk, Cole North has now repositioned to be right behind the mayor. As Heather
Cole
scolds
North
him for being
top
late to
dog,
calls
that's
and
why.
visiting decks, Matt tunes her out to eavesdrop on Jack.
If y'all don't know, bro, Cole North is top dog, nigga. Excuse me, nigga. Bro, no cap. Cole North, I feel like, is the only cop. I haven't read many Daredevil comics, but Cole North gotta be the only cop who stood in the street and said, "What's good?" And Daredevil was like, "Fuck it, what's good?" And gave him the ones in front of everybody on national television, bro. Like, be for real, bro. I feel like Cole North is the only nigga who did that, bro. He said, "Come here. Give me those." And Daredevil said, "Come here, give me them hums. Hum. Like, them niggas, nigga. And one, by the way, he beat up. Nah, bro. Like,
Think that when men tune them out, we're thinking about the Roman Empire. No. We are thinking about Kingpin and the guy who played one of the best characters on Better Call Saul, playing, well, this guy in the MCU.
Why? He was in Better Call Saul? I need to finish. Me and Bay need to finish Breaking Bad. No cap, bro.
Fisk pulls Jack aside to ask him
again, bro. We're choppy, and I'm gonna have to keep it that way, bro. I can't do nothing about it.
For money for Red Hook, casually dropping that he knows he's the swordsman. Now, how does Fisk know this? I'm wondering if he might have sourced this information from the BB report footage of swordsmen that we saw earlier this season, and then had some researcher like Daniel Blake match the outfit and the sword fighting skills with some CCTV footage of Jack Duquesne swashbuckling in the Battle of 30 Rockefeller Center and the Hawkeye finale.
Okay, maybe that's specific. See, it's like, I know it's like we gotta only go off by like what we actually seen, but I don't know if he actually like watched the CCTV footage of that. Would they still have that? Probably. No. Well, hard to say for real.
Is that a threat? No, of course not. It's merely a warning.
Man, Swordsman should have stabbed that nigga in his shit right there.
When they talked back in episode 6.
That's a threat. No. It's a warning.
And when they stand facing each other, Fisk towers over Jack. Vincent D'Onofrio is reportedly 6 feet 4 inches. Tony Dalton is reportedly 6 feet exactly, but that might just be because there's this weird anomaly where literally no adult man in existence on this planet is 5'11". Still, since Fisk seems at least 8 inches taller than Jack here, I'm guessing they had D'Onofrio on an apple box to make him even taller to pay off the low angles when Jack was seated looking up at the towering standing Fisk.
Yeah,
Fisk notices a reporter who snaps some
had to
photos
pay
on his
off.
phone of him with Jack. A reporter who foolishly uses a flash and a very loud shutter sound effect on his phone.
Yeah, he's a fucking idiot. I still can't get over the fact that Cole North is the only nigga in probably comic history as a cop who went toe to toe with a vigilante and won in front of national television, bro. I really can't get over that.
Fisk sends Powell and Poland after the reporter, which is kind of like the opening sequence of The Godfather when a photographer gets roughed up after taking the wrong photos. But I bet the photographer,
like, Daredevil threw down the sticks, bro.
photographer in this episode wishes he was that photographer because all that photographer had was just some, exposed negatives. Instead, Powell, who seemed to be given enough close-ups looking uncertain during the past Goon Squad scenes to make me think he might be redeemed on this series, takes all those hopes to Flavortown.
Facts. I thought that boy was kind of redeemed in a way.
I have a real hard time.
Again, bro, we're choppy. Ghetto with the footage. Sorry.
My God.
That shit,
Powell.
damn.
Now I'm wondering what deep fried apps they were serving at this black tie event to need the deep fryer to be continually boiling like this over what seems to be an hour into the party.
Look how
But
long
if
he
this
held
bar
that
is
shit
pouring
in there,
shots
though,
and we
bro.
got some
What the
arancini
fuck?
making the rounds. This is one hell of a ball. Commissioner Gallo realizes the goon squad does not answer to him and finds himself under threat. That makes me worry for Gallo. Is Gallo headed for the gallows? And when BB approaches him asking about the task force, he teases her, calling her Fisk's Minister of Propaganda, and then drops this.
Do you know that Wilson Fisk was the main suspect in your uncle's murder?
Why do you think I'm here? Not everything I write is under my name.
So confirmed. BB actually has been a journalistic vigilante with a dual identity of her own.
So what's the dual identity if it ain't the BB report? She's most known for the BB report, and that's where she be like posting her like propaganda bullshit when she not out in Fisk because she don't want her homie to know. So what little ass side hustle she got where she posts the real shit? Don't tell me she got a side hustle where nobody knows her and it's bigger than the BB report.
This time playing Daniel and playing Fisk to get on the inside of the operation, knowing that Fisk was connected to Ben Urich's murder. She is avenging her own Uncle Ben. But even though BB says she can publish anti-Fisk videos under a different name, would that alt account have as much reach as a BB report does? And would any future critical reporting justify everything she's already done to use the BB report to help Mayor Fisk become as powerful and as unleashed as he now is? Like, thanks to her past headlines, we now have a police goon squad who answers only to Fisk, including Cole North, who killed Hector with no consequences. They're basically brown shirts.
Cole North is the only cop in comic history to go toe-to-toe with the vigilante. He went up against Daredevil with straight hands. Daredevil threw down the batons and said, let's get it, and he beat his ass. Cole North won. I can't get over it, bro. I loved reading that.
With badges, they deep fry reporters' hands. They're threatening the police commissioner. Like, if BB is working to bring Fisk down after killing Uncle Ben Urich, why even help him get to be this dangerous first? BB, what are you doing? As Matt goes to confront Fisk, the spotlight
Again, bro, we're choppy footage, bro. Can't do nothing about it.
hits the mayor, and the band begins playing Rodgers and Hart's Manhattan. We'll take Manhattan, the Bronx, and Staten Island too. The lyrics recalling the different boroughs in New York that Fisk plotted to take over as part of his mayoral campaign earlier in the season. And we must remember Daniel saying this.
Got Staten, don't need Manhattan.
Fisk and Vanessa dancing.
Go Staten, don't need Manhattan.
Reflects in the lenses of Matt's glasses as the music slows and distorts. This same couple's first dance at their wedding party in Daredevil Season 3 is what happened right before Bullseye crashed that party. Matt warns.
Heather, he is a monster. You're not safe. No one is safe until this
and
is
Heather
done.
don't listen.
I love the insert of Fisk blowing on his finger guns. Like Fisk is teasing Matt with what everyone else would just see as harmless, playful daddy dance moves, but Fisk knows that Matt would see through it as a direct threat.
Fisk ain't even like that, bro. Like, why is he blowing finger guns, bro?
He's going to kill him.
Again, bro, sorry, bro. We're choppy. Sorry.
Or have him killed. Matt inserts Heather into the charade, dropping his Billy Club cane on the serving tray and dragging them both onto the dance floor.
That was the swaggiest shit ever.
You're gonna have to lead.
But Fisk
swag! Straight fucking
him from across the room earlier, by now whispering so low that only Matt can hear.
What were you looking for? Devil. Told you there'd be consequences.
I love it. It's kind of like they're speaking on an exclusive radio frequency.
It really is.
Saying this is recalling their meeting at the diner back in episode 1 when he warned Matt not to interfere. Buck gets a call from his contact at the prison.
Please just tell me he's dead.
No. He escaped.
So it sounds like Buck was hoping to hear that.
And that nigga was scared.
Gen Pop, but got much worse news. Meanwhile, we see Dex pick up the serving fork, and my God, that fork was left haphazardly on the deep fryer, which is bad for 2 reasons if you've ever worked in a kitchen or watched The Bear. 1, because it's a hugely unsafe place to leave any sharp kitchen instruments, and 2, that was the same deep fryer that they just used to cook the reporter's hand, and now they're using it to cook food. The jalapeno popper is great. It's a fingernail? And we cut to the and they reveal it in such a cool way. They circle around the ballroom and back to the elevator gate, which now contains Dex with the fork and continues to ascend to where we know the balcony level is above our heads. Buck informs Vanessa that Dex and Matt overhears Vanessa's heart racing as she hears something. He puts it all together. It was Vanessa who ordered the hit on Foggy. Matt confirms it's walking.
That's so crazy.
He's leaving.
That's so crazy, bro. That's so crazy, bro.
His own girlfriend in the hands of the monster that he just shamed her for letting that guy manhandle their
Like literally, bro. And it's like
lives.
I'm
So
not
now
going.
Heather's white dress is paired with Wilson's white suit, and Vanessa's red dress is paired with our red. The camera pulls back from the dance floor to Dex's point of view on the balcony. Dex now holds the rifle, and the serving fork is wedged in the neck of the guy who was just
That
standing.
is so fucking crazy. Yo, this was really a fire episode. My favorite episodes. Probably mid-season. What was it? 6 or 7. 6 and 7 maybe. But 8. No. Episode 6 though. Probably episode 6, just the bank episode. And then there's 1, you know. But then episode 8, like this feels like literally season 4 episode. This was like a season 4 episode.
There, and now the room turns blue, signaling to us that Dex has now re-entered his icy tunnel vision, his eyes only able to see targets. Matt taunts Vanessa.
Did he know you had Foggy killed?
Does Heather know you're Daredevil?
And I think this is an important line because it reminds
Does Heather know you're Daredevil? She said that shit scared than the bitch. You know she wasn't gonna say nothing.
Matt that not everyone knows he's Daredevil, and that is gonna be something that is on Matt's mind when he jumps in front of the bullet in a moment. But Matt's devil sense goes off. So you'll notice that this entire episode has been widescreen, but right now the aspect ratio opens up to a taller frame that actually warps to sandwich and accordion the world around Matt's ear. And while he hears drink glasses clinking with ice and footsteps and murmuring, among this cacophony, he hears the unmistakable sound of a rifle trigger clicking. And the camera tilts up to locate the source of that sound, and the aspect ratio narrows back down. Since it's going off on Foggy's frantic phone call with dumb Benny outside Josie's in episode 1. Bullseye uses a sniper scope, not that he would need it if he has super perfect aim, but you know, this visual is common in assassination sequences like in The Manchurian Candidate and The Jackal, while part of the tension of this moment is Bullseye's aim moving across anyone in the crowd, reminding us of the paranoia of the earlier long takes inspired by not cutting. As we move from grouping to grouping at the party, he now settles on the highest profile target, Mayor Fisk, his white whale, who broke his
that big fat white bitch, not white as in skin, but
that to Dex must be the ultimate betrayal. Though I'm a bit surprised he didn't shoot Vanessa first and then bang, Matt leaps for the bullet for Fisk, taking it in the shoulder.
How the fuck do you do that?
Could Matt know from audio cues alone what the gunman's exact target trajectory are? How do you know? Has this body blown away and leave him with just a flesh wound? Was that suicidal? It's hard to answer this question. Maybe I could like hear Dex's heart beating up on the balcony in his face and knows that it would be vengeance against Mayor Fisk. He's remembered when he studied him back in Daredevil season 3, and he's like,
And what is Matt gonna say? Oh, I seen him. Damn it, I didn't see him. I felt him. Like, how you gonna say you know who was there? I heard the gun. Like, okay, so nigga, are you Daredevil? Niggas know Daredevil's blind. Daredevil's blind? Yeah, you ain't know about that? Yeah. Hey, who said that? I don't know. A few villains have said that though. Yeah, they get word around the crime world is Daredevil's blind. Every time they fight that nigga, they don't see his eyes.
I know what's about to happen here, and he would just know that Bullseye would.
He don't even have to have his eyes on you to do something. That's how we know he's blind.
And he knows the height math that I was bringing up earlier. Oh, Mayor Fisk is like, 6'8", I think, and he's that much taller than me, and I need to jump this much off the ground. Look, Matt just has really good spatial awareness, and we got to let go of the logic here. Really, the question is, why does Matt save Kingpin? Is it his hero complex, a subconscious desperation to prove Heather wrong, that he's not a violent widow boy like Muse, but rather a hero man who always spills his own blood first. Does he overtrust his ability to heal, or does he really see an opportunity here to score one over the
ability
mayor,
to heal my ass,
and not unleash all-out war on Matt and his loved ones, and really just to stop Fisk from revealing Matt as the Daredevil vigilante, because now Fisk would have to admit that one of those crazy vigilantes just saved his life. Also, I'm sure running through Matt's mind were Dex's words from earlier.
Because that's what good men do, right? Defend their worst enemies.
And now Fisk's white suit is stained with Matt's
That's
blood.
what good men
a
do.
literal recreation of the stained rabbit in a snowstorm painting, a painting that was actually stained with Fisk's
You see
blood
Fisk
by Matt
slip.
in their fight at the end of season 3. The powerful choir vocals we hear during these final moments come from the Florida Mass Choir singing Milton Ray Bigham's arrangement of Storm Clouds Rising, Let's Go Home. This whole season has refused to take Matt to church, and I feel like in this moment he's like wishing he could be with Father Lantom in church, getting his last rites.
Or
the
something.
color tone turns red on Matt as he gets on the floor, trapped in his fire. The devil that Fisk now being dragged out, and it hurts him so that he's upside down, mirroring the shot of the blue upside down rose. His eyes intended target as he focused on that rose. Imagine what he could do with Wilson Fisk. That chance was ruined by the chaos, and the devil jumped in front of that death. Now, it's entitled Straight to Hell, which you could interpret as a reference to the fact that when Muse dies in the comics in 2025's Daredevil Unleashed Hell run, he's condemned for eternity to hell and continues to make part of the suffering around him. But knowing how these final 2 episodes were rewritten, reshot, I don't think Muse will be referenced at all. But Murdoch is a different fire during a coma. We see Murdoch briefly visit his version of hell. Maybe that hell is what the color tone of his final shot is meant to convey. So, Daredevil Born Again finale?
No.
Probably not. Hey, big thanks to our generous Richard Price and Jeremy who support.
Matt makes a deal with him. Makes a deal with Mephisto. I have no idea. Man, if you enjoyed the stream, please go ahead and subscribe. I'm not gonna lie. This is just a short test stream, no bad. Love and yeah.